the cosmic silence. Imagine a universe where Jupiter never formed, not like a distant planet, not like a bright spot in the sky, but as if he never existed, without its colossal gravitational field, without its eternal storms, without its 79 moons orbiting in orbit. Without the great red spot which has been burning for centuries, what would happen to the solar system? With the planets, with the Earth? The answer is not just scientific, it's scary. Because Jupiter, it's not just the biggest planet. He is the silent architect of our solar system, the invisible guardian, the cosmic shield that unintentionally gave us the chance to exist, and without him we probably wouldn't be here. Let's dive deep into this hypothetical scenario, not to scare, but to understand how fragile our existence is on the great board of the cosmos. This is an exercise of imagination, but based on real physics, gravitational simulations and decades of space observation. Scenario 1. The birth of the solar system without Jupiter. About 4.6 billion years ago, a giant cloud of gas and dust began to collapse under its own gravity. In the center, the Sun formed. Around it, a rotating disk of material, the protoplanetary disk, began to clump together into larger pieces. This is when Jupiter enters the scene, or rather, should enter. But what if he never graduated? In reality, Jupiter formed early, just 10 million years after the birth of the Sun. This makes it the first planet to consolidate itself in the solar system. Its gravity acted like a gravitational stinger, sweeping away the disk of material. It pushed smaller planets away, prevented the formation of other giants, and shaped the orbits of rocky planets. Without it, this process would get out of control. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, which today is a relatively organized ring, it would be a chaotic debris field with thousands of larger, denser, more dangerous bodies. And on Earth, it would have been subjected to constant impacts for the first billion years. Possibly, he would never have had time to calm down enough to develop life. Furthermore, the distribution of material in the internal system would be completely different. Without Jupiter to clear the path, more gas and dust would remain close to the Sun. This could have led to the formation of several smaller planets, or even a super Venus in place of Earth. Or worse, no stable rocky planet would have formed. Planetary formation models, such as the NICE model, show that Jupiter was essential in stabilizing the architecture of the solar system. Without it, the inner system could have become a permanent collision field where planets formed, collided, and were destroyed before consolidating. Scenario 2. Out-of-control asteroids and comets. Jupiter is the cosmic vacuum cleaner of the solar system. It attracts, deflects, or destroys long-period comets that come from the Kuiper belt or the Oort cloud. An example? Shoemaker-Levy 9. In 1994, a comet broke apart and collided with Jupiter. The explosion was equivalent to 300 million atomic bombs. If Jupiter didn't exist, this comet could have come here, and he wasn't the only one. Jupiter is estimated to experience between 2,000 and 8,000 times more impacts than Earth. He is the shield. Without it, mass extinction events would be much more common, maybe every 10 million years instead of billions. The evolution of complex life, almost impossible. But why does this happen? Because Jupiter has enough mass to alter the orbits of distant objects. When a comet approaches, it can capture it and make it collide with you. Eject it from the solar system, divert it away from Earth. This phenomenon is known as gravitational shielding. Without Jupiter, Earth would be an easy target. And we're not just talking about comets. Main belt asteroids would also be more unstable. Without Jupiter's gravitational influence, more bodies would cross Earth's orbit. The impact that wiped out the dinosaurs, an asteroid 10 kilometers in diameter, could have happened many more times. Human civilization, which has existed for less than 10,000 years, could have been erased before it even began. Scenario 3. Unstable planetary orbits. Jupiter stabilizes the entire solar system. Its gravity smooths out the orbits of the other planets, prevents Mercury from colliding with the Sun, prevents Venus from resonating with Earth. Without it, the solar system would be a chaotic system. Mercury, already with an eccentric orbit, would have a much greater chance of being ejected or colliding with the Sun. Mars could be pushed out. Venus could enter into orbital resonance with Earth, and on Earth, its orbit could become more elliptical, causing extreme climate change. But the chaos wouldn't stop there. Jupiter also influences the center of mass of the solar system. The Sun is not stationary in the center. It dances around the barycenter, the center of mass between it and Jupiter. This point is above the surface of the Sun, 1.07 solar radii from the center. Without Jupiter, the barycenter would be inside the Sun, and the motion of the system would be much more predictable, but also much more fragile. Without this gravitational dance, small disturbances could cause large imbalances, and worst of all, Earth's orbit could become chaotic over millions of years. Models show that without Jupiter, Earth could even be ejected from the solar system. Scenario 4. Earth without cosmic protection. Have you ever wondered why the Earth has so few visible craters? Because Jupiter did the heavy lifting. It is estimated that it takes 2,000 to 8,000 times more impacts than Earth. He is the shield. Without it, asteroids like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, 10 kilometers in diameter, could get here much more often, every 50 million years. Maybe every 10 million or less. Human civilization, which has existed for less than 10,000 years, could have been erased before it even began. But the impact would not only be physical. Without Jupiter, the evolution of life would be completely different. Complex. Life needs long periods of stability. On Earth, we have had billions of years of relative orbital peace. This is what allowed the emergence of fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and humans. Without Jupiter, this process would be constantly interrupted. We could have microbial life, but nothing more than that. And even that would be unlikely. Scenario 5. Earth formation at risk. Jupiter not only protected Earth after it was formed, he helped shape it. Its gravity prevented other giant planets from forming closer to the Sun. It prevented Earth from becoming a scorching, inhospitable super-Venus. Some models suggest that without Jupiter, there would be no stable rocky planets in the inner system. In other words, without Jupiter, there might be no Earth. But let's go further. Jupiter also influenced the distribution of water in the solar system. Comets that bring water to the inner planets are deflected by Jupiter. Without it, fewer comets would reach Earth, or more comets would collide with extreme force, vaporizing all the water. I.e., without Jupiter, Earth might have been a drier planet, or completely barren. In addition, Jupiter helped clear the protoplanetary disk of excess material. Without it, more debris would remain in the internal system. This could have led to the formation of a denser asteroid belt, or even a second planet between Mars and Jupiter. But that planet, if it existed, would be unstable, and it could collide with Earth. Scenario 6. Jupiter, the destroyer and the protector. But be careful. Jupiter is not just a protector, he is also a destroyer. He may have destroyed an entire planet in the past. Some scientists believe that the asteroid belt is all that remains of a planet that never formed, or that was dismantled by Jupiter's gravity. This hypothetical planet is called Planet V, and there are those who say that if Jupiter were a little bigger, it could have become a brown dwarf star, and we would have a binary system with two suns in the sky. But no, Jupiter is big enough to change the fate of the solar system, but not enough to shine. Still, he is the king of the planets. With a mass 2.5 times greater than the sum of all the other planets combined, Jupiter is the gravitational dominator of the solar system. It even influences the Sun. It affects the movement of all the planets. It protects the interiors, and he controls the chaos. Scenario 7. Jupiter's moons and what they tell us. Jupiter has 79 known moons. The four largest, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, are called Galilean moons, and without Jupiter none of them would exist. Io is a world of active volcanoes, fueled by the gravitational pull of Jupiter. Europa has an underground ocean, one of the most promising places to find life beyond Earth. Ganymede is the largest satellite in the solar system, larger than Mercury, and has its own magnetic field. Callisto is an ancient relic, with a cratered surface dating back to the early solar system. All these moons exist because of Jupiter. Without it, they would just be pieces floating in space, or they would never have formed. But more than that, these moons teach us about the possibility of life on other worlds. Europa, for example, has an ocean with twice as much water as Earth. And this ocean is in contact with a rocky crust, which means there could be hydrothermal chemistry, as in the Earth's ocean floor where life arose. Without Jupiter, this ocean would not exist. Without Jupiter, we wouldn't have these natural laboratories to study the origin of life. Scenario: 8. The Juno mission, and what we learned NASA's Juno probe reached Jupiter in 2016. Since then, it has shown us a planet much stranger than we imagined. Juno revealed that Jupiter's atmosphere extends 3,000 kilometers below the clouds. The planet has a diffuse core, perhaps dissolved in metallic hydrogen. The magnetic field is stronger and more irregular than previously thought. Polar storms are giant vortices, arranged in geometric patterns. The Great Red Spot penetrates much deeper than previously thought. But the most surprising thing